Hello, and I'm your host, Sean Millerick, and this is Marlins After Dark, because, of course, no team keeps you up late at night like the Miami Marlins. And as you might have guessed, it is not dark, but it is dark somewhere, particularly in the UK. Peter Pratt joins me to talk this Marlins sweep over the Nationals. We'll talk a little Eury Perez as well, and just kind of look at where the team stands right now. And going forward and what we could expect for the Fish to do. Are they going to sink or swim? Are they just going to try to stay afloat? What do they need to do in 2023? So, Pete, how you doing? And where's your head at after this big win?
I'm good. Firstly, I'm good. I must say today's game was slightly too UK friendly. Like it was a bit too early, which I don't often say, but unfortunately, my good wife Tara was out with some friends. It meant that I was on full daddy daycare duties and had to sort the kids. And I was like, oh man, I'm trying to watch the game. And, they wanted to play and there's homework and there's all that stuff going on. So it was a touch too early. But overall, mate, I mean, a sweep of the Nats. I was a touch pessimistic going into this series, actually. Obviously, the big news drops with, Jazz going down multiple weeks, Jesus Sanchez down multiple weeks, AJ Puck maybe down multiple weeks. Thinking, boy, oh boy, is this just taking all of the steam, all of the momentum out of the Fish? Is it just going to be flat into this series and the Nats, squeeze out a series win? Who knows? But, I guess when we take a look back at the series overall, Jorge Soler, baby, that walk-off bomb, I mean, it just flipped the script. Like, honestly, if the Nats take that first game, who knows how this series plays out, to be honest with you. So, for me, Jorge Soler, huge moment, not just in the series, but I wonder if that's the catalyst for the Marlins just to, another little boost, another little shot in the arm to just keep them rolling. Last year, it felt like they kind of kept trying to get to 500, then stumbling, going backwards. This year, it's like, can they just keep it tracking over 500? And that's the difference, mate. So big sweep, big results. At the end of the day, all wins are equal. Doesn't matter who they're against. And
that's right.
You got to beat who's in front of you. And they swept the Nats. What a series.
Yeah, Fish run their record to 23-21 with this one. And you said it, Soler getting the tone set in game one. Mm-hmm. There he was up to 11 home runs on the season now. Today, finishing up the sweep, kind of saw everyone else picking up the slack. I mean, if I told you that the Marlins are going to win today, they win 5-3, and that Arias and Soler are going to go combine 0 for 8 in that game, that 1 for 11 between, if we throw Cooper into that equation, one RBI, big RBI hit from Coop late,
no doubt,
to stretch it out. But still, it was everyone else contributing today. A little Fortes, a little, Segura, running it up to 5 games in a row. Edwards knocking in a couple hits. It's everyone kind of chipping in to finish it off. But 2 games over 500 heading into a road trip. But easy competition. But those West Coast swings always difficult. The where are you thinking about before we talk about the star attraction today in Eury Perez? But I guess let's focus on Mean Gene and X specifically. Was this a little too much? Was this playing the Nats, or do you think that this is something that could continue? There used to be an expression that was used in fantasy baseball for years, bona fide or Bonifacio. Was the expression highlighting Miami's favorite flash in the pan player, Emilio Bonifacio. Do you think that which is it, do you think, with Segura? Is he turning things around, or is he just playing the team that he was playing?
I think it's a bit of both, actually. But I think with Mean Gene, clearly it was a terrible start for him. And there was that post-game presser a few series back, and he just sounded fully deflated. And the thing that impressed me most is Skip Schumacher, right? I mean, there's so much he's done well, Skip Schumacher, just to start his Marlins managerial career. But taking him out the lineup for a couple of games, giving him that break, they had a few off days sprinkled in there, and just kind of like saying to Mean Gene, just go away and get that head reset. Because, baseball, I think, is sometimes a lot of mental torture in there, particularly as a hitter. And I think it's hard to find those breaks, particularly when you're expected to be an everyday player. And so having the opportunity to just go away, get out of your own head, loosen up, relax. Next thing is, lo and behold, things start falling for Mean Gene. I know Skip post-game yesterday as well said, I think he said, yeah, Gene, he played his ass off today. Something along those lines. That was his phrase he used where, the hits are rolling. Defensively, it was good. I think base running as well. So, yes, the competition isn't amazing, but I have to say, like, the Nats pitching is actually pretty good and was pretty good through this series. So, I wouldn't say, you look at the Nats and go, well, Mean Gene, that you should be feasting on them boys. It's, Josiah Gray's having a nice year, so's Gore. So I'd say this is really positive for me. Like, I come away thinking Mean Gene, I feel like, pardon the phrase here, and, it feels like an old one, but like, I feel like he's turned a corner. I feel like we're in territory here. That's really encouraging for a guy who's an everyday player. We need to stick the heat up. I love seeing him, at the top of the order today, given that opportunity, and delivers. So, encouraging signs. The Marlins need him, though. They really need him, and they need him to heat up because, everyone, to your point earlier, everyone needs to chip in now. You can't just expect the Riders to have 4 hits a game and Soler hit a home run, and that's the offense. There needs to be more, and let's hope Gene can do something.
Yeah, and seeing Xavier Edwards jump in as well, and so you really like that. Hope he can keep that going. Any just close steady production from him would be huge. Big game, knocking in all those checking off about every MLB first, I think. Today, or at least on the season.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what role he plays and how frequently he's in there. I mean, they seem to be mixing and matching. They're like Hampson maybe in center field. Obviously, Burdick can play out there too. De La Cruz has done a bit out there. So it's going to be interesting to see what his role is. But, for him personally today, like, it's encouraging. It really is. He had a good start of the season in AAA. Given the opportunity, what can he do? And the reality is he's got 4 to 6 weeks of opportunity here, as does Peyton Burdick too, to be honest with you. So there's a few guys here that all of a sudden can catapult their major league careers potentially, or not, and which is more typical of the Marlins guys. But the other thing too is it feels like, and I think it was maybe Garrett Cooper talked about it either yesterday or the day before, just saying things feel different this year in the clubhouse, the vibe, things are different, and maybe this is a culture or a situation where players have the opportunity to succeed more so than they have in the past. And so, it's encouraging with X. What role he plays, who knows? But, some big hits today, big spots. Let's just hope for more. Just keep them coming.
Yeah, and just really, really loving the culture now. I mean, I'm definitely buying into it with Skip and what he's bringing. For me, he won Manager of the Year when he made that comment about Peyton Burdick and the Sun a couple of weeks ago.
100%.
Was you can't do anything about the Sun. He just cuts the reporter off. Oh no, you can. You can do things about the Sun, and
you can control the Sun. I think was his exact. You can control the Sun.
Big demands, controlling the planetary bodies, but high bar from Skip.
No doubt. I thought the same. Incredible.
Love to see it. Spit out what I was drinking, I think. But of course, the big attraction today, Eury Perez, second start. If you actually go and get into 5 innings first MLB win for the Marlins young star. And I had the opportunity to talk with Alex Carver about this the other night, but what are your expectations here for him? What were your thoughts on today's outing, and what do you expect to see from him this season? What do you think is reasonable for the 20-year-old?
Yeah, and the end of that sentence there is the most shocking element of this, right? The dude is only just 20. It's not like he's an old 20-year-old. I mean, not in baseball terms. There's no old 20-year-olds. Like, the fact that he's just turned 20 and is up at the big leagues doing what he's doing is in my opinion just truly mind-blowing. Like, I'm blown away by this whole situation, and the control, the calmness, the poise. I think that's maybe the word I'm gonna use with Eury Perez thus far. The poise that he's demonstrated has been so impressive. His first outing, honestly, I was completely blown away by it, to be honest with you. He was so impressive that first time out. I feel today that it was one of those, I mean, you look at the box score and the lines and whatever, and you go, wow, okay, must have been great for Eury, but it wasn't quite there for him today. And for him to then, I think, go and deliver what he delivered, again, is just another testament to this dude, the mentality. I mean, he's got a bulldog in there, and he's got a best friend of, in Sandy that's gonna, really help him and nurture him and help him to prepare and etc. But fundamentally, when he's on the mound, Sandy's not there with him. It's on him to deliver. And I mean, thus far, as a 20-year-old, as an any age, as an any prospect, as an any pitcher, you can't really ask for any more. The Marlins are going to cap his pitches. He's going to be going 5 max pretty much every start. We know that. But that's why he's lined up with Sandy to go the day after. Because you've got Eury Perez going. You're going to need 4 innings of the pen, probably. And then the next day, likely Sandy's going to give you 7, maybe 8, who knows? And the pen can kind of reset again. So I think the way they've lined the guys up, I think really helps just to balance things. But my expectations for Eury Perez, it's not to be down in the minor leagues really at any point again this season, to be honest with you. I mean, the Marlins have promoted him. They've started the clock. There's only a certain amount of bullets, certain amount of innings for him available this year. I think they should all be at the major league level, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the only thing I guess that concerns me is just like how long. Like I don't think he's going back down, but I guess it's like how long will he be here? If that makes sense. Like his
exactly when his bullets are gone.
Yeah, I think the previous season high was like 78 innings pitched. And obviously a lot goes into that. It's how many pitches you throw, how high stress are those innings. But hoping we can get at least. That we can at least get to that 100 inning mark. And if you start putting him out there, if you do cap him at those 5 innings, which I'm fine with, I agree.
Me too.
Like that's just if he can turn in the majority of the game, offering what he's offering, that seems huge. But what maybe 15 starts, 15 more starts after today, and then that's it. Just be you hope that they stay in competition long enough for this to be a conversation about if it gets to the point where. Okay, are they going to have to start doing 6-man rotation stuff, taking advantage of those off days, or are they just got to shut him down when he hits 100 innings because it doesn't matter? We're hoping it's not that.
Exactly. What you've mentioned, I think, is the critical thing. Obviously, for all of us Marlins fans, is there will be an easy decision for the Marlins to make, and we hope they don't have an easy decision. And the tough decision is they're bang live in August and September, and what do they do at that point? That's going to be the stress test for these Marlins. And it may be that, as they look ahead to, the deadline, if they're in contention and they know where Eury Perez is, looking, who knows? Maybe they have to go out and get another arm, a rental arm that they think, actually, we know we're going to need something in September here to give us some more innings. Who knows? It's going to be really interesting, not just the hitting side, which is, there's clearly some need there, I think, to add if they are really serious about maintaining this. But I am interested where you've got, not sure about Cueto. We're not sure about Trevor. We're not sure about a few of these guys. Uri's got an innings limit. All of a sudden the depth really thins. Next thing is, if they are in the hunt, where are they going to turn to for some innings? And so all of a sudden the Marlins may need to do something with an arm, a pitcher somehow, just to kind of bolt them in there and add some innings. I don't know. I mean, there's normally some pitchers being moved, obviously, at the deadline, particularly rental guys. And,
sure.
But who knows? We wouldn't have expected the Marlins to need to be buying pitching at the deadline. But I could certainly see that they may need to at some point. We'll wait to see on that one, though, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could argue they need a little bit of everything.
They need everything.
Anything would help, which is an odd thing to say about a team that's, is contending as of right now and is, doing. And it's, again, showing, as like we said before, signs that this could be a different team. This feels different. May end up be going the same way by the end, but it feels different this far into May, which has been a long time since the Marlins fan has been able to say that.
Yeah.
And I guess as part of that stretch. So I mean, a big thing for me this season has been just really thinking that they just need to, they need to contend. They need to take that step forward. They need to have the win for the Marlins does not even need to be making the playoffs, but it needs to be still being capable of making the playoffs in September, in the end of August. It needs to be a winning record. And then they just during this stretch of this soft schedule stretch that we're dealing with, I remember thinking a week ago before injury hell, set in and befell the team that, God, I hope they don't do this thing where they're just going to, tread water. And even when it was just Cooper and Avi out, that they're just going to be like, well, we'll get our guys back. And this is a great, this is a team that could make the playoffs and everyone's healthy. And, I'm thinking well, it's not. You you're going to have to do some tweaking. And now with even more, I still feel like this is a situation where they need to pounce. I'd like to see them get aggressive, sooner than later, making some kind of acquisition. And I guess I guess for you, how desperate do you think it is that the team win this year, come close to that as 80 wins as possible, and how aggressively do you think they need to approach this soft part of the schedule? Now we'll call it the next 4 weeks, the bulk of Jazz's absence. Is it about just staying alive, or do they really need to get aggressive enough to really attack those?
I mean, it's a great question. I hope I know the mentality will be to put the pedal down, because if we're talking about it, so will the players. They'll be thinking the same, where you'll be looking at the schedule, you're looking at the teams you're playing, looking at their records. You think this is time to eat. This is the time to go to work now. We've done the hard work. We put ourselves in a great position. We're not 10 games under 500 at this point, and we're thinking, oh boy, is this going to be another tough year? They fought through that. They now give themselves the opportunity to eat, get themselves, build a cushion above 500. Because to your point, like the barometer is a 500 club in some ways is seen as a success, I would say. But 500 gives you the opportunity to go and buy some pieces later down the line too. So right now, this isn't about just staying afloat, in my opinion. It's about kicking on. And in some ways, I think it's kind of what the front office have shown us, though, right? Where they've gone, it's Eury time. Like for me, that's already aggressive move number one. They've pulled the trigger on that. Let's get him up now, because they're lining him up against the Reds, against the Nats, against the Rockies. Not sure where it cycles beyond the Rockies. I haven't looked since actually, but it won't be a real tough matchup. So they've got him up. They've got him in the right position to succeed. But it's an aggressive move, right? Like it's seen as an aggressive move. So the other flex to this then is, what does the prognosis look like for Jesus Sanchez? We know what it looks like for Jazz right now. I haven't heard a specific timeline about Jesus Sanchez, but, do they need to go and find a stick now? Like, is there teams that already could be in a position to make a move? And could the Marlins look to be aggressive in terms of making a trade this early? I'm sure Kim's exploring it already. I'm sure she's already thinking about that, because I don't think the Marlins have, from an offensive perspective, an aggressive move like an Eury Perez where they could go, sod it, let's go. They just don't have that right now. So aggression in terms of the Marlins offensively is, do we go and find a trade and execute it early? So, I think Skip is thinking, let's full go now. And it wouldn't shock me if Kim looks to swing a deal, into June, like early June, and look to try and add something. I can't recall. I need to look back how early it was when the Marlins traded Simba and Dickerson to the Blue Jays. That when that trade happened, it felt really early. Probably was in June, maybe. Might have been back end of June, but that's the kind of thing, right? The Blue Jays at that point were trying to add. They were trying to stay in contention. And I do wonder if Kim and the Marlins need to try and do something along those lines early on. But, this is the time to eat. But as we saw with the Red series, though, right? Like, you look at the records, you look at the teams. We don't watch the Reds that often, don't really know. Next thing is they roll in and, frankly, they could have swept the Marlins in that series. I think the Marlins did well to get out of it. Absolutely. Fraley MVP, in that series. So, you can't just look at the records. You can't look, you have to play who's in front of you. And they've just got to play some good ball. And they're playing good ball, and the pen is leading the way. But I do feel like, mentioned this on today's episode on Locked On, the rotation, it feels like it's starting to turn. It's starting to click a touch and improve. Like Eddie Cabrera, 0 walks. That's a huge indicator for Eddie Cabrera. And so if the Marlins can actually get back to what they're about, which is pitching well, and then plus you add into that an offense with Arias and Soler, and then a bullpen that's overperforming, that's a club that's going to keep winning series, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're loving to see it, and I agree. I think they need to have that aggression, and the thing that gives me the confidence that they might be thinking that way, like as you mentioned with the Eury call up, the fact that happened, before all these injuries, so they were already kind of demonstrating that they are taking it this seriously. this soft part of the schedule, wanting to pounce, being aggressive about having the pumping up those wins this season. So I'm hoping that that's the way they're going to look. It seems like it's always considered sacrilegious to talk about trades in May or June, but I don't get it. I figure especially if you're giving up assets, then to take advantage, it's got to be the A's, right? I mean, some teams are still in it, but Oakland, they're not playing for anything. Real estate in Vegas,
that's it.
Some parts that they can offer, and I also think just with Skip's mentality, like with this winning culture he's bringing, stressing winning every day. I mean, I don't think Skip's having any problems so far selling his message to this team, based on how they're playing. But I think if you're a smart front office backs that up by adding that piece, like, okay, you're selling this winning message, it's working. We're going to help out too, and here's this move. We did it with the Eury call up, and we're also going to do it with a move.
Agreed. I do wonder, just in terms of, like, I know the A's is an obvious one. I do think there's another club that is appearing obvious and maybe has some pieces that could be interesting. And I think it's the Rockies, to be honest with you. I mean, the division's absolutely loaded anyway, so they know it's always going to be an uphill task. They're falling behind a touch now already. And there's some pieces there that I think, could be interesting to the Marlins. So I wouldn't rule the Rockies out. I know they're a weird club. That's the thing about the Rockies, is you can never quite work out what the hell is going on. Like, their moves don't make a ton of sense. But again, like, you look into the Cardinals a few weeks back going, the Cardinals dead. The Cardinals aren't dead. There's so much talent there in St. Louis. And the Cardinals aren't just going to press the panic button and just start selling pieces off. It's not the way they operate. They're just too good. But I do look at the Rockies and think, if they're cut off a touch, then, and we know that the Marlins and Rockies were already talking in the offseason. Obviously, there was that Edward Cabrera potential trade brewing around with the Rockies. So the lines of comms are open, let's say. They look to be falling behind a touch. Anything can happen in Coors, and the Marlins never seem to play great in Coors, so it wouldn't shock me if,
That does scare me next week.
It does. It scares me too. It really does. But I keep my eye out for the Rockies. I do. It wouldn't shock me if they maybe sell off a piece or two a touch earlier than maybe some of the others.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, honestly, if you just look ahead for like the next 6 weeks, I bet a handsome bet that we're gonna see a future Marlin in the next few weeks facing this time. They play them all. They play the A's, they play the Rockies, they play the Royals, they play the White Sox, and all the likely sellers. So
definitely
they'll get to do a lot of scouting. But yeah, I've got the Rockies circled as well. Randall Grichuk's one particularly, but I would really like to see that.
Grichuk, interesting. I mean, Corey Dickerson might be available too for a homecoming. Looked impressive.
Bring him home.
Bring him home, baby.
Yeah, so definitely be interesting to see what they do. But all right. Well, I've mentioned to you off air, but if you always like to play a game with the guest, and particularly as we're after dark, we're after hours. I'm having the most UK friendly drink I had available. Got a nice Scotch here. So you got
beautiful.
The wine. We'll do a game. We're gonna spin. We'll have you spin, and your Marlins fandom goes back to about 2016, 2017.
Yep. 2016.
Okay. Okay, so that's what I thought it was. So we're gonna start the wheel at 2016. We're gonna spin for a little who was the leader trivia.
Oh boy.
For that season, give you 5 questions and see how you do.
Okay.
Alex Carver did really well the other night, and the last other few times I've done this game it has not gone so well. We'll see. So if you get a question right, if you get the right answer, we'll throw up Jeff Conine giving you a thumbs up, and if you get it wrong, I'll just break the sad news that you were wrong. I don't have
Oh man, absolutely love it. Sounds good. Let's go.
Okay, let me throw the wheel up here. This will be great content for people just listening on Spotify. But we're gonna spin.
Look at this.
All right, so let's see where we end up with. I'd say no free ads, but obviously check out AHA Slides.
Are you going to do an AHA Slides ad read now? Is that
I guess I should.
Love it.
Okay, so 2021. Okay. All right, so we give rid of that. Okay, so first up, all right, who had more home runs in 2021? Jesus Aguilar or Adam Duvall?
For the Marlins? Mm-hmm. I assume so. Not in total, right?
Yeah, Marlins homers in 2021.
That is a great question because obviously Duvall was traded at the deadline, but he used to love a 3-run blast was Duvall's extravaganza. Fuck. Boo, boo, boo. I'm gonna go Jesus Aguilar.
All right, and good news, no pressure on the first question. It was impossible to be wrong. It is a tie.
Yes,
they both.
That's why it felt close. It was close.
So you get it right, and honestly, I guess I could have told you got it wrong too. But right is positive. We'll be positive.
Let's get the graphics up then. Let's get Jeff going.
Oh yeah, all right. That's right.
Let's go.
I'm enjoying.
Love it.
Okay. Stolen bases. Next up. All right. Who had more stolen bases in 2021? Jazz or Starling?
Must be Marte. Must be Marte. Oh, for the yeah, he was traded too. Oh man. Oh yeah, it must be Marte though.
And unfortunately, it was Jazz. Jazz edged him out by 1, 23-22, before Starling went on and had about 50 more for the Athletics.
Yeah, exactly.
After he left,
he stole so many bags for the A's, didn't he? It was ridiculous.
Just went crazy with it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Jazz gets the edge there. All right, next up, strikeouts. Who had more strikeouts for the Marlins in 2021? Trevor Rogers or Pablo Lopez?
21. Man, Trevor, that was rookie year Trevor, right? 21?
Rookie year Trevor.
I feel like it must have been Trevor then. He was just such a stud. I'm going to go Trevor. Yes, let's go.
There you go.
Pablito probably got hurt as well at the back end.
I think he did. Yeah, I think that was what ate away at it. All right, let's go with wins, not everyone's favorite pitching stat in these modern ages. Wins. Who had more wins for the Marlins in 2021? Trevor Rogers or Sandy?
I seem to remember that was the year that Sandy never got any run support and had a losing record, and Trevor maybe had the opposite. So I'm going to go Trevor again.
Well, I mean, it's every year that Sandy doesn't get run support.
That's true. That's true.
But it was Sandy.
Was it? Wow.
Sandy edged him out with 9.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How many L's did you may not have in front of you, but
more than that. I want to say 14 off the top of my head. But
okay.
No, I don't have it pulled up. Okay, but lastly, so all right, so this will be the tiebreaker. I think we got this right. 2 right, 2 wrong. Who had more RBIs in 2021? Adam Duvall or Jazz?
Must be Duvall. Must be.
It was Duvall. Even with the fact that he was traded, he was really mashing. 68 RBIs for Duvall. 53. Looks like for.
Wow. It was those 3-run blasts for Duvall. He loved them. So there you go. They add up, I guess. So yeah. I still don't understand that trade, by the way. Every time I hear Adam Duvall's name, it just always bothers me. I've no what happened with that trade. Do we ever know?
No, I don't think so either. It's like I think I always reassure myself there must have been something or we don't understand, some kind of backroom calculation. I'm like, no, I think they just screwed that up.
I'm not sure. I mean, that the conspiracy theory is that they just didn't realize there was an arbitration year, even if he opted out, which was what he was expected to do. But I don't know, maybe they thought the arbitration number would have been too expensive for what they were looking for. Maybe. Either way, it didn't make a ton of sense, did it, that one?
No, but hey, maybe he comes back. Maybe the Red Sox make him available when he heals up.
There's a few ifs in that one, I'd say.
Yes, many ifs. Well, all right. This is usually the part where as we wrap up, where I ask if you've got anything you'd like to promote. But I think we all know where to find you on there. But if you want to promote Locked On Marlins, you can find Pete on Spotify, on the YouTube channel, can be aptly named, right? Locked On Marlins.
See what they did there, right?
Yes, absolutely. Well, Pete, always a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for coming on. And
absolutely, brother. Really enjoyed it. Make sure you come on to Locked On Marlins real soon, mate. You're overdue. It's been I think it was last season. So, we need a season debut from you very soon.
Sounds great. Would love to do it. So, all right, till next week. Marlins After Dark. Go Fish, go Heat, go Panthers, and let's catch you next time. Bye.